Hey, welcome to episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Another beer that I got in my recent 𝗕𝗲𝑗 box. If you saw the unboxing, I thought this was funny. So this is Death Metal, or Metal Death. No, it is Death Metal. And it's funny, if you look on the can here, it actually says Death Metal by Adroit Brewing. It's a wheat wine, which was why I wanted to try this. Wheat wines are very rare, even though I think they're an American style. Not too many people do them anymore. And also, if you look at the bottom, it says brewed by Adroit Theory Brewing, Orlando, Florida. That's 20 miles south of here. But I got this from 𝗕𝗲𝑗, which is out of Seattle, which means this can went from here in Orlando to Seattle and then all the way back here. And the actual Adroit Brewing is in Virginia. I actually messaged them on Instagram and I said I bought a beer of yours, and it said it was canned in Orlando. What happened? And let me see what they wrote back. Did I delete it? Nope. It said, we contract brew at a variety of places, including Orlando, blah, blah, blah. I said, what brewing does it here? They said, it's Brew Theory. You should be able to pick it up there. 400 Pittman Street, Orlando, Florida. I don't even know where this is. So this is... it's like downtown area. It's actually a few miles north of the Amway Center. Let me see if you can see this. Yep. So, like right here, that's the Amway Center where the Orlando Magic play, and that's where the brewery is up there. All right, so enough with all that. Let's get into the beer. Oh, by the way, this is 11% ABV. Yeah, pretty sweet. I mean, it smells kind of like an English barley wine, getting a lot of those fruity notes, you know, kind of like the plum, cherry, raisin, fig, something like that. A tiny little bit of like almost like a Christmas spice in there, maybe like a nutmeg or ginger. I mean, that could just be yeast esters. Pretty clean alcohol. No, green apple or butter or, it doesn't smell like jet fuel or anything like that, So there is like a significant bready presence. I mean, there should be, for considering it's a wheat wine, which means it's made with a lot of wheat. So I will say it has like a little bit of like a red apple kind of flavor. So it actually, again, kind of reminded me of like an English barley wine as far as the aroma. Appearance, lovely. I'll call it like a kind of a deep copper color, but it's actually quite clear. I don't know if you guys can pick that out, but yeah, I would call that copper, chestnut, mahogany, something like that. And it did have a pretty frothy, foamy head when I poured it, so we'll see if it sticks around. Anyway, let's dive in here. Cheers. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. It's not quite as complex and bold as I thought it was going to be. Uh-oh, we woke up Leo. He wants in. Let me look up. I should have had this ready to go, sorry, but I think a wheat wine is a 22C, if I remember correctly. Nope, 22D wheat wine. Let's see. A rich textured, high alcohol sipping beer with a significant grainy, bready flavor and sleek body. The emphasis is first on the bready, weedy flavors with interesting complexity from malt hops, fruity yeast character, and alcohol complexity. History: a relatively recent American craft beer style that was first brewed at the Rubicon Brewing Company in 1988. Often a winter seasonal vintage or one-off release breweries. Frequently experimenting with this style, leading to a range of interpretations. Ingredients: 2-row and American wheat. Usually 50% or more wheat malt, any variety of hops, maybe oak aged. So, what should be the mouthfeel on this one? Medium full to full bodied and chewy, often with a luscious velvety texture, low to moderate carbonation, light to moderate smooth alcohol. Yeah, so the mouthfeel is not quite as big and chewy as I was expecting, considering what this is reminding me. Off the aroma, it does kind of remind me not saying it's identical. It just kind of reminds me of like if you ever had a J.W. Lee's barley wine, dude, that's not food. Not quite as big and robust as that one, or even like a big Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. It's not quite that big. It's kind of like it's kind of like a barley wine light. I do get the fruit off. I assume that fruity character is probably yeast esters, in addition to like a long boil. Long boil of, it doesn't matter if it's malt or wheat or both. Usually long boils tend to get like kind of like the fruitier flavors coming out of the grain bill there. It's not toasty. I would not call it. I mean, even though we saw that this was pretty coppery, it doesn't really come across as like toast, or like maybe like like whole wheat bread, like bread crust. And there is a little bit of like I said with the aroma, like a little bit of like almost like a Christmas spice. But I think that's just the hops. It's I mean, I guess I could have looked it up to see what malts and hops they use, but I wish they would just put that on the can. Remember last night from the Neon Phenom IPA, they put the malts and hops right on the can. I wish all brewers would do that because I don't have time. I mean, I guess I have time to look it up, but I just am too lazy to. Like, I should. If it's not in the description, like, actually, let me open Untapped here. Untapped, like, if I scan the label, and let's see, here we go. Death Metal features a full, semi-sweet body with notes of caramel, honey, and slight biscuit. Moderate booziness on the finish reminds you what you're drinking at 11% brew without overwhelming your palate. I don't get caramel. Honey, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I really get honey. I don't think it's made with honey. But it's to me it just kind of tastes like. Well, I don't want to say watered down, but let's just say it tastes like a really mild barley wine. Take a Sierra Nevada Bigfoot or a J.W. Lee's, and just like if those intensities are up here. This one's, maybe not down here, but like up, like right about here, so it's got flavor, yes, but it's not big, bold, and in your face. I will say the alcohol is very smooth on this one. It's not burning. And I think I'm drinking this like the perfect temperature, because I had this sitting out for probably at least 10 minutes, maybe 15 before I started. And I really like drinking stronger beers like a little bit warmer. So I think where that spicy note is, I'm like 99% sure that's just whatever hops they're using, and maybe like a little bit of like the alcohol in there too would add some dryness to it. I gotta say I'm like a little disappointed on like the mouthfeel is like only medium. I wanted like something thick, full, sticky, syrupy, and I'm not getting that. And just the flavor intensity overall I feel like I'm drinking somebody's homebrew. If this was somebody's homebrew, I'd be pretty impressed. But for a commercial brewery, I think it's kind of lacking like the wheat character to me. Like this just tastes like a barley wine light, and it's kind of surprising. It's 11%. It's not a bad beer. It's just, I think it's just not living up to my expectations. Because anything that's like wheat wine, barley wine, strong ale, anything double IPA, anything in the 22 category on the BJCP style guidelines, those are big beers, or at least they should be. And you go into them expecting to be like, okay, I'm drinking this at not even 8 o'clock because I want to be sober by the time I go to bed, So I'm definitely been drinking a lot of water after this one. But anyway, as far as to style, it's if I was doing this BJCP spec, I think it's like 35, maybe 38 tops. Personal preference, pretty much the same, like 3.5, 3.75 on Untapped. I mean, yeah, it's a thumbs up, but it's not a jump for joy beer, just because I have a little bit higher. I guess I have higher standards, higher expectations, but I forget how much this was. I don't think it was too bad. I really should print up my my receipt for 𝗕𝗄𝑟. So if you want to get 𝗕𝗄𝑟, link in the description below. Click that. Use my referral code. You're going to get $10 off your first purchase, and it lets them know that I sent you. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow? Monday? All right, have a good weekend if I don't see you. All right.